cap bank. Ralph, you want to explain what the cap bank is?
Cap bank is for your appropriations. Basically, each year we are allowed to go up a certain percentage. For the state of New Jersey, we are not using our cap at all, either our tax levy cap or our appropriation caps. This is strictly to bank that for 2 years, if for some reason we would need it going forward in the future.
Thanks. I'll move for its introduction.
Second.
Councilwoman Becky?
Yes.
Councilman Gilman?
Yes.
Councilman Dean?
No.
Councilwoman Nicolai?
Yes.
Mayor Garden?
Yes. Next is first reading introduction ordinance 2013-11. It's a bond ordinance providing for various water and sewer infrastructure improvements in and by the Borough of Belmar, in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey, appropriating $5 million thereof, and authorizing issuance of 4,761,900 bonds or notes of the borough to finance part of the cost thereof. This ordinance is in tonight, or on for tonight, to address the horrible situation we have with our water in certain sections of town. If you're lucky enough to be in a section of town that doesn't have water problems, that's great. But unfortunately, we have too many sections of towns, too many sections of our town that do have significant water problems. Now, while our DPW is running around trying to address the water problem as best as possible, and we're working with New Jersey American Water as well, you know, when you open up the fire hydrants and you see chunks of rust coming out, you know it's time to replace the pipes. So this ordinance will fund the replacement of the pipes. So a yes on this ordinance is to tell the families and residents that came before us with pictures of children around water that you care about replacing their pipes so that they have clean water, because everyone in Belmar should have clean water. And if you vote no or you abstain, then you're telling those same exact families that you're not interested in providing clean water to them, and you think it's fine for them to bathe their children in groundwater. I will move for its introduction.
Second.
Councilwoman Becky?
Yes.
Councilman Gilman?
I'm for clean water. Yes.
This puts our debt to water and sewer up to $10,400,000. Is that correct? Since we have $5,400,000 now, this is going to up another $5 million. You know, this is why we don't go out and do feel-good projects of paving things that aren't desperately need to be done, because when we really need this money, it's not there, or else you got to take out bonds that we should be using on this and not other items. Mike, man, tell them, I'm going to take your word. This stuff has to be done. There's no way around it. All right, I'm voting yes.
Councilwoman Nicolai?
My bath water's brown after my son gets out. But I vote yes.
Mayor Garden?
Yes, that ends our ordinances. So we move to public session. Public session works very simple. You raise your hand, wait to be called on. We're acknowledge Despina. If you want to come up,
Sure.
I told her she's the first one. And 5-minute comment, just say your name and address for the record, and then tell us what's on your mind.
Hi, Mayor Jordan. I'm Despina Daniel. This is my first meeting, you know, but my
And
family.
just state you own the Belmar Cafe.
Okay, on the Belmar Cafe, 707 Main Street. I have a lot of love for Belmar. My family came from nothing and has everything from Belmar. But you know, sometimes like,
Excuse me. Someone's talking. Mike.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You know, the water is not great. I know you have like a lot of things going on too. But, you know, sometimes like, yeah, I pass by 35 and you're like, support Ocean Avenue, support Ocean Avenue. I'm like, we've been here for 27 years. We conformed with building our building the way, you know, the town wanted it before you were here. We didn't. We conformed. Now we have to pay everybody else's too, you know? But then I go on Ocean Avenue the other day, I'm walking, and there's like all these like, I don't know what you call them, trailers of like, Muscle Maker Grill, breakfast places, sandwich places, ice cream places. I mean, are they paying for the SID? I mean, I just want, like, I know, like, support Ocean Avenue, but they're not in business November when Sandy hit. We were. I was closed for 17 days. I know, I don't care about what I lost. I saw my customers come in with everything lost. I'm like, you know, think about Main Street a little bit and maybe some of the businesses that have been there for a long time. We're not asking for freebies, just like support us a little bit too.
Did you have a question on parking as well?
Yeah, the parking in front of my restaurant. There was a parking spot and 70% of my customers are elderly. All of a sudden now there's like a line and then no other line. So, you know, they get like confused, they don't want to get a ticket, and then that's just like a lost spot for my business. And for when, you know, when you are older, it does make a difference if there is a parking spot right there. So if somebody can look into it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for letting us
Thank
know.
you.
Robert, 12114 Avenue. Just a few quick questions or comments. The boardwalk is beautiful. Everybody did a great job, but I want to know who approved the plans of the boardwalk itself and the lights and the aprons that are out there. In other words, did that reconstruction go through a planning board or a citizens review board? Or how did that come about? The size of the aprons, the position of the lights and stuff like that?
Ultimately, it all goes through the council. But Brian, did you discuss it at your?
We discussed it, the engineer, the Belmar engineer and the architects, but pretty much everything had to go back into the same footprint that was there before. I mean, nothing's really changed except for Ocean Avenue where it's a county road, so they made us come up to code, current code, where you have to have more space at the intersection, so for safety.
Okay, like the aprons, the size of the aprons. They were
That's
big.
That's the county telling us it's their roads.
Okay.
And it's more pedestrian friendly, I guess.
And
Yeah.
in my opinion, the lights, even though they were that way positioned, the double globe lights, from what I see in Avon, what I see in Pier Village and other research.
Well, to tell you the truth, our advisory board came up with one design, and we passed that out locally, and it came back unanimously hated. So we pretty much went back to the kind of lights that look like the older ones, except they're LEDs.
Yeah,
Right now.
but I mean the position of it. I think the 90 degree out of phase, it should be the other way. I think, from what I researched.
Oh, you mean going
Yeah,
east-west
right.
instead of
Sort of like Avon or
north-south?
Pier Village or, you know, something
Well,
like
the
that.
original one you guys chose
Was gonna go
did go
out over?
Did go east-west. You know, it has
Right,
moved,
yeah.
and that was, again, it was.
Yeah. Universally disliked,
Okay.
to tell you the truth.
Let me ask you another question. Next year, you're gonna be building buildings. Is that gonna pass through the planning board or a committee review?
That comes before the council. That's another thing that Brian, Councilman Governor's been
Right.
working on for months.
At the end of this month, we'll have drawings from the architect as to what the buildings will actually look like.
Okay, is that gonna be reviewed by any, like the planning board or anything like that?
Well, not the planning board.
But any citizen review committee?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
on the third Thursday, 7 o'clock in this room. 7 o'clock. There's nine public citizens from Belmar that sit on that board.
Okay.
And we review it, and then we advise the mayor and council, and the council makes the final decision.
Okay, good, thank you. One other thing, two other things, actually. I got a letter from the Department of Environmental Protection. Dear resident, I write to request your assistance to help protect New Jersey lives and property. And what they're talking about basically is strengthening the dunes, engineered beaches.
Yeah, that's basically, it's kind of funny they sent it to, and I got it, they sent it to all the residents of the town. Even though none of the residents have property on.
It's Belmont property, right?
Right, it's all Belmar property, so you know, for the Army Corps of Engineers to provide us with sand replenishment, we as a borough have to sign off on the easements. Whereas in a place like Manilokin, you know, there's something that aren't signed off on. So in this case, it's not for you to sign off on because you don't own the property.
But I mean, you're aware of this, okay. But the last thing is, from what I can see, the budget, the Belmar budget is already, municipality is subject to a 2% cap year to year raise, unless you go through this procedure and you get 3.5%, is that correct? You could go up to 3.5% with a resolution or an ordinance or whatever. Here's my point, here's what I'm trying to ask. Is there any cap on the amount of money you can issue in bonds? In other words, do you have a certain limit? Does that cap apply to any bond issued by?
The debt service is outside the cap, correct?
We do have a percentage of our, 3-year average of our total assessments of municipality.
So there is a cap.
3.5% of the total assessments of the town.
Okay, thank you.
Is that the other?
My name is Mary Ann Casella. I'm here, I think Mayor Doherty, you know why I'm here.
Just address for the record?
Excuse me?
Your address.
I don't live in Manal, but I own property at 1310 Highway 71. I know Councilman Bean and Councilman McGovern know why I'm here. I'll make a long story short. I'm only here to get a date when the fence that was knocked down by the Public Works Department in January of 2012 will be put up. I've been asking for it since then. I've made several phone calls, emails. I stopped calling when the storm came, and I continued again in this past February. I keep getting promised that it's going up any day or next week. So I'm here to get a definite date on when the new fence will be put up.
I actually drove to the property. I know it. I remember swimming jerseys used to be in the back of it. A friend of mine, Andres, on that. There is no definite date.
Well, it was knocked down in 2012, January of 2012. It was 9 months before the hurricane. I know it's after the fact, but why wasn't it put up in those 9 months before the storm came? What was the holdup?
I don't know if there was a holdup, but you know, like most other things we have in town, we have limited resources. That fence is on borough property at the borough yard. You know, there are many other projects that our Department of Public Works has to work on during the process.
No, I understand.
Don't mind
I understand that, but in this past March, a new fence was put up on the side of the yard,
Well, I saw the snow fence.
on the condo side, and then they stopped when they got to my side. Now, when the fence was knocked down, all the brush started to grow into this wired fence that was there, barbed wire fence, and the
Just
brush.
what's your name and address?
Darrell Reeves, I live at the property now, I'm her son.
Okay.
Yeah. What
So-
she's trying to say is, why did the other fence go up and not ours? And if he can't handle his workload, why can't you sub out the work? Why can't a contractor do the fence? It's 100 feet of fence, it's been a year. Can't pay somebody to put the fence up?
It's
You
all-
just talked about millions of dollars. How much could a fence cost? It's 100 feet of fence. If he can't handle his workload, she has no answer of when he can get to it. Somebody's got to do it. When? How?
Well, I can tell you for absolute certainty, Mike Campbell can't handle his workload.
He said he could in his own words. I can't, I don't have, she said he can't handle his workload. He doesn't have enough people.
Well,
What does that mean?
we have a tremendous amount of work. He handles.
So he can't do our work, and he can't handle his workload.
Well, the fence is not necessarily part of the.
Okay, so why do the other side? We've been pulling for a year. Why do the other side, not ours? Have they been calling and complaining for a year? No. He did the other side of his fight.
I just wanted the same consideration that was given.
Come on, he's got a trash
He
dumpster
did
in
not
our
do anything
backyard.
else. He did
He's
not
got
do
a
anything
trash
else.
dumpster facing our
He
yard.
didn't do anything else, Mike.
Yeah.
No, that's just,
If he can't handle his load, get somebody that can. If he can't do it, get a contractor. How much could it cost to put 100 feet of fence up?
I understand your point, and what I just want to make abundantly clear, just so there's no confusion, because it seemed like there was some confusion on emails. We are gonna put a fence up, there is no set date.
Well, Ms. Connolly said on April 23rd, she told Councilman McGovern that the fence would be up within 2 weeks. I've had workers there working, cleaning up, making my yard presentable. I got rid of all the weeds, dead trees from the storm, and now we have to look at a dumpster, huge cement blocks, recycle bins.
The fence is
And the
sitting
fence is sitting right there.
Rotting
The
in the
posts are there, the fence is there, and I just wanted the same consideration that was given to the other side. That's all. And I would like a date when this is gonna be done, because it's over a year and a half now.
So I understand the position you're in. And I'm telling you, we cannot give you an exact date.
So what do we do? Just sit and wait? Is that what you're saying? Just sit back and wait?
Why was
I'm not telling you what to do or what not to do. You're asking me what's the date, I'm telling you there isn't.
Can you tell me why the condo side was done and not ours? Is there an answer to that?
just in this past,
I
Can
don't
you
know.
ask somebody, or they can answer?
We're progressing.
What does that mean?
We were progressing the work in the time that we had, with the resources that we had.
So you
And then
started
it's-
on the condo side and neglected ours, as we've been
And
calling for a year. So you did the other side and not the people, have they been complaining as well, or you don't know?
Okay, thank you, that's your 5 minutes.
so we have no
Useless.
date.
No.
Is there a plan B? How many times do I come here, or how many phone
And
calls?
that's
All right.
everything is 5 minutes.
I just want to go on record and say I'm extremely disappointed how this is being handled. We're getting defensive on this, and if we want to be good neighbors, we should get this work done. I kind of agree with him. If our guys can't do it, let's hire somebody to put up. I mean, it's 2012. You're looking at 18 months. No excuse. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I just can't see it. The lady's spoken to me a couple times, extremely friendly. I think her request is reasonable. It's a fence.
Ma'am, you're not asking if you're done tomorrow, you're asking for a date.
Yeah.
That's all you're asking.
And
So stick to it.
for someone to stick to it, Mr. Campbell has told me I'm on the radar, he doesn't have, to get to it when he can get to it.
Doesn't have the manpower.
Doesn't have the
understand.
manpower, and, it's a year and a half,
Understand.
it's a year and a half.
Thank you. Brennan?
Brendan Reed, 109th Avenue. That's fine, I got a lot of voice. Thank you. Just a couple of questions. One is regarding the bonfire rules amendment. Are there provisions within the in the bonfire permitting permit for the fire department to rule if the weather conditions are poor on the date of the bonfire going to take place, that to cancel that permit, for example, such as high winds?
Yes.
Okay, great. The second question I have is regarding the lights on the west side of Ocean Avenue. What's the status on that?
We're still working with JCP&L to get those lit up. It's going slower than we want.
And did they give you any rough ballpark expectations on that?
No.
Okay, great, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. David Lonsky, 98 13th Avenue. I just have a quick question, that is just status on the 13th Avenue improvements and road reconstruction, because with the the weekend traffic, we've been having a lot of difficulties, people parking on lots and everything else.
Oh, paving 13th Avenue, you mean? What, do we know when that's gonna come
I
out?
think they're still doing some of the curbs, they're still doing some of the piping.
Yeah, we're wrapping up the curbing work. There's actually a small list left to be done. We are proceeding with paving as soon as possible, so they're doing as much compaction and getting that road to settle as quickly as possible so that we can go ahead and pave. I'm actually gonna look to Mike. Do you happen to know if we talked about an ETA for commencement of paving?
They didn't give me.
No, I don't have it. I don't have the start date now. I can get one for you.
I know they were pulling some of the curbs, and in fact, in front of my house, they stopped. So they said they were gonna come back, they're gonna go up the other end and come back. I'm not really sure.
We're looking at them finishing up all the final detail work on the curbs and the aprons in the next 2 weeks. But I'll get back to you with an actual start date.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Sid Eman, 1218 Oakwood. Just back to the subject of the seawall. The conversation is not whether you're going to build the seawall. The subject has always been whether that was the original contract. So I don't want to lose the focus that the original contract, since the entire council had to vote on that contract, and it's in the contract because I have a complete copy of it, is for $6.6 million for the boardwalk, not 11. On the bills paid list that you just paid for, and I know you recused yourself on the 1.6 plus million Ash Britt bill, but I have to ask, why is it being paid for by the boardwalk bond, and is that legal?
It was debris that, the debris package actually largely is on the beach bond. Correct, Robin?
Beach pond, a lot of it has to do with sand removal
Sand
and the
removal.
sifting of the sand.
And the debris of the boardwalk.
Okay, so we have bills then, to Ash Britt, they're the ones online? There are bills online that show that they did the work on the boardwalk, not Fiera, on the beach.
The debris removal.
The debris removal and not Fiera. Or did we also pay Fiera the $290 for the same thing?
Not the same thing.
Well, the $290 that was wire transferred to Fiera on the 21st, that was not for anything dealing with the beach cleaning up?
Nothing that Ashburn's contract.
No, I didn't ask that. The $290, it was my understanding from the bills, the way they were written by Fiera to our borough, it seemed that we were paying $290,000 plus for the work they did cleaning up the debris on the beach. I was unaware, looking at any of the Ashburn bills, that any of them stated that they did that work.
Not sure what your question is actually.
Okay.
This was all-
You're saying that the 6.1 that we just paid and the bills paid is being taken out of the boardwalk reconstruction bond because they did the work down at the beach. Is that
That was money we bonded for the
cleanup of the beach?
cleanup of the storm.
No, wait, so we have garbage from the storm, but why, and that's my question. Why is it legal to take a dedicated boardwalk reconstruction bond and put your garbage bills in there?
I think what you're asking is the fact, number one, it's not a dedicated boardwalk reconstruction bond. It's a dedicated reconstruction and cleanup from the hurricane of our beachfront. It was what was explained to me. Anyway.
Well, I read the bond and it doesn't say that, Robin.
Okay, I'll read it again. What was explained to me when the bills came in through the administration, through our engineers, is that both Ashburn and Ferrara were working down the beachfront. Ashburn was responsible for sand sifting and removing the debris from the right-of-way. Once Ferrara took it off the beach, put it to the right-of-way, Ashburn took it from there.
All right, now I can easily find those specific bills, because I've looked at the Ashburn bills, and I do not see anything where they state that that's what they did. I do see the Fiera bills stating that they did that.
There are monitoring bills, there are debris bills, there are monitoring bills.
No, and specifically down at the beach with the sand and all that.
The sand sifting and all that?
Yeah, with Ashburn. I did not find one bill that said that.
Okay, there's 18 invoices online. I mean,
I know, but they would be at
there's
the
a lot of
end.
questions that you have that never get to me, or I can't answer them to you. So please just submit it through April.
I will.
To the Administrator,
Okay,
and
and
then I'll answer.
finally, the bond ordinance that you just passed tonight, I mean, I've lived a few years, and I've lived in a few towns that do water and sewer bonds. I have never been so insulted in my life. Now, it says, and I hate to be like Gene Kramer, but it says the improvement described in section 3A. You go to 3A and it says various sewer improvements. Now, I'm going to take the video that you just voted tonight, and you had the whole conversation about the little boy in the bathtub. And I'm just so happy because that's in my neighborhood. And I'm going to take that video and tell everybody on Briarwood, where the little boy lived in that bathtub with the brown water, that you're getting your water and sewers done first. Thank you.
I like things like Gene Kramer. Yes, Janice? It could be right
Good evening, Janice Kuhn, Blackburn, 100 River Court. Right now I forget where I live. Two things. Bonfires. Many years ago, when I lived up closer to Sandy Hook, the National Park Service used to do a couple of bonfires a year on their beaches. They would bring in somebody to play guitar. Everybody would sit around and sing folk songs. You guys are too young to know folk songs. But anyway, everyone had a wonderful time, so that might be an option for the town to look at. Number two, I would like to thank you for introducing the water improvement bond issue this evening. I also live in that area. Fortunately, I don't have any children to take dirty baths, but the water was not fun to be drinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Any other questions, comments? Yes, George?
Mine's gonna be quick. George Comapas, 111 3rd Avenue. On the bonfire, my family and I would go to 3rd, and there was a little bit of a mess there. Me and neighbors, we cleaned it up. But then I went to my daughter's Girl Scout camp out, and over there they have a big cement pit. I think, I'm not saying spend any more money, but if we can take up donations, or we have a great guy, Nino, if we take something, build a big cement pit, and put something over it during the winter, I mean, I don't know, keep it cleaner.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Bill Strauss, 1218 Oakwood. Mayor, can I address Councilman Bean directly?
Sure.
Councilman Bean, did you do anything during Sandy's cleanup to assist the borough? Did you do anything at all?
I did. I don't want to go into politics.
No. Just did you do anything?
Yes.
You did.
I did.
Mayor, how come you didn't thank Councilman Bean for doing stuff after Sandy?
I didn't talk about doing stuff after Sandy.
You thank the council for doing all their work during Sandy, but I was under the assumption that Councilman Bean didn't do anything because you didn't thank him.
No, I didn't. I thanked the council members who supported rebuilding the boardwalk.
I voted yes in that boardwalk.
Oh, okay.
You voted no about 5 or 6 times on.
Those are your change orders. You can't really explain.
And also the introduction of the bond to pay for the boardwalk. So no,
Okay. All right. So during after Sandy, when everybody was volunteering and restaurants were putting out free food, I noticed on the T-shirts that Belmar Barbecue wasn't included there. They weren't thanked. I kind of remember seeing food from Belmar Barbecue. You didn't thank them either. Also, I think Bar A had a lot of food out. I don't remember ever seeing anybody thank them. I'm just kind of curious, you only thank people that are your buddies and not maybe everybody.
no, Jersey Shore is my buddy.
Belmar Barbecue didn't get thanked. They weren't even on the T-shirt.
Well, Jersey Shore Barbecue did get thanked. They weren't on the T-shirt. Oversight.
Oh. Okay, I
Bar A
understand.
is also my buddy.
They never got thanked.
They were thanked, but they live in a different town.
Yeah, but they kind of help Belmar residents too.
Okay, but we were trying to keep
All right, another question I have is down on the beach, all the new curbing that's down
Excuse me a
there.
second. Someone speaking at the microphone? Go ahead.
Down at the beach, all the new curbing that's there, How many parking spots did we lose based on that curbing? Does anybody know?
I think it's 90.
90? So we lost a lot of revenue there then, right? Because we lost 90 spots, and that's meters that we would have got paid for that we're not gonna get, right? So we lost some revenue there.
We have a FEMA loan for $4 million.
All right, but, so we lost revenue there. We didn't get any revenue because there are no meters on the boardwalk over the last weekend. We put the lights up, and we bought beach balls, but we didn't put any parking meters up. If I was a borough with $40 million of debt, I think I would have put parking meters up like the first thing, just to get some revenue coming in. Anybody don't agree with that?
I don't.
You don't agree with that? You don't think we need the revenue? Oh, by the way, for their fence, I think we could sell the beach balls to pay for their fence. Also, all right, so that's everything I wanted to ask about. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Yes. Mark?
Marty Riccio, 310th Avenue, Belmar. I'm just curious, once Memorial Day comes, and on the weekend you check the beach badges, but then during the week, up until I guess the third week of June, there's no fee for the beach? During the week. Why is that?
One of the reasons is most of the lifeguards are not available. They're teachers or college students. For various reasons, you just can't put a full crew on the beach during that time.
Right, because
and another thing, most schools are still in session, like the Dalton Brown School, St. Rose, all the high schools. So
yeah, because I was on the beach, I'm at the beach all the time. I was on the beach Thursday and Friday, just past. The beach was mobbed, and I'm thinking, we're losing a ton of revenue. Also, what seems to happen is you get a lot of people that are just out of control, making a mess. I never saw such a mess on the beach.
you can look at it that way, but a lot of those people that come down to Belmar where it doesn't cost to get on the beach, they'll be back because they like it. And when they come back, now it's time that they have to buy a badge and everything like that. If they have to buy a badge when there's not all the lifeguards aren't there. And another thing with the lifeguards, there's lifeguards right there. That water's cold. Those lifeguards are not in the same condition as they will be in June, So, it might as well open up the beach, let the people enjoy themselves, not charge them. And when we're up and running and are confident that we can put a full crew on that can provide the safety for everybody, charge.
So the issue is there's no way to do the crew. I'm just looking at the sheer numbers of the people that were out there. I cannot imagine. No, I'm not worried. I'm not saying them coming back. I'm just saying it seems like there's a huge amount of lost revenue. Even if you were paying everybody to be up on the beach, the beach was packed.
I actually was talking to the owner of Three Brothers Pizza, and he told me that Friday was his highest grossing revenue ever. But I also think Friday may have been senior cut day because there were a lot of.
Maybe. And as far as the water being cold, it's just as cold during the week as it is on the
Don't
weekend.
get me wrong, those lifeguards will go in right now. But a lot of the senior lifeguards, veteran lifeguards, are teachers. And they're in school still teaching. And, the younger guys really depend on the veteran knowledge of those guys to, when they're on the beach.
Are the veterans there on the weekend?
Yes.
They are?
Yes.
Okay. I still would think there would be a way to do it, and I think there's a lot of revenue that's being missed.
You could. A lot of people complain that we're even charging people to get on the beach. That the beaches aren't free, which is a ridiculous argument.
Welcome to New Jersey.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Marty.
I just want to mention, I know that, who did the record you said?
Three Brothers.
Three Brothers Pizza on Ocean Ave had great, obviously, revenue. So the beach was crowded, even though the weather on Memorial Day was terrible. But also good news in town was I spoke to the owner of 10th Ave Burrito, and he said that those 4 days, even though the weather was horrible, were by far triple digits over any successful day or weekend he's ever had. So I think the boardwalk definitely brought back a lot of people, and they spread through town, which was great.
Any questions, comments? Yes, Tom? Oh, microphone.
Reason.
Yeah.
Kyle Rizzatello, 14th Avenue, Belmar. All we keep hearing about is the beach, all right? It is great. The beach looks fantastic. What happened to McCleary Park? What happened to the bathrooms by L Street Beach? What's the status on that? There's also a piece of dock that's still floating on the bend between Belmar Boulevard and Highway 35, and it's got a canoe or something on top of it. That's still sitting there.
That was
So
discussed at the Harbor Commission. It's stopped there.
What is-
Do you want to address what we're doing?
So what's the status of what's going on with McCleary Park?
I'll address all three.
Okay.
The dock, we had, both US tried to tow that off, they could not. So we have to now dismantle it board by board. So it's not as simple as just pulling it off. I just met with Roy from FOPH, the 3 boats that are on there are his. He's gonna be removing them. I met with him yesterday morning, and then we have to dismantle we tried to wait until a high tide, it just hasn't been as high as when the storm was there, so we can't get it off, we couldn't pull it off, couldn't get a big enough boat to pull it off. So that one has to be dismantled. The boardwalk, or the walkway around McCleary Park, we do have 9 people there for the last 3 weeks, and they've built different sections of the walkway going through to get the walkway back. And we also had 3 pieces of heavy machinery there for the last 2 weeks, trying to flatten everything. So we are in McCleary Park, we do care about McCleary Park. L Street Beach, we started on there last Thursday. We do have people inside, we had to do the plumbing, redo the plumbing and the painting, and we have been in there as late as today, trying to get the bathroom back up as quick as we can.
And the other, I'd like to thank Michael, because there are a couple of issues that have come up on our block with some things that needed attention. There was I believe it was a water line cover that was open, and walking past it, someone could fall in there and get hurt. I gave him a phone call, and within 24 hours that was taken care of. So anytime I have called him, I've gotten responses. If not that day, by the next day, things have been taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Shaw.
Get on your knees.
David Schnack, 302 C Street. Just try to get through this real quick. The 41 million total debt, that's before the 9.5 million that we talked about tonight, right?
We didn't talk about that.
Well, 5 million for the sewers and 4.5 million FEMA. Right.
The debt would be the 5 million.
5 million is a bond for the sewers, right?
Correct.
And then another 4.5 million, which may be a gift, may not be a gift, but.
Not a bond.
Okay, so if we skip that and we only, it's not a bond, yeah, but it's a loan. A bond is a type of loan. But, so anyway, that's on top of it. So you would say 46 million, I would say 50 million, 40 million. I'm sorry? Well, you know, according to city data, there's 2,500 households in Belmar. So, like I wrote on my blog, it comes out to $20,000 per household, total debt in Belmar. So everyone who lives in Belmar, you move to Belmar right away, you're, assuming $20,000 in debt. But if I could just...
The debt is a snapshot of our current situation. So again, once we get FEMA reimbursed, we're talking about a substantial amount of that debt going away.
Okay, well, I was going to ask how much we totally expect from FEMA, but I'll save that for another meeting because I have other questions I want to get to real fast. Adams Party Rental, tube tent, $34,000. What's that?
Those are tents that we purchased through tourism, correct? Through tourism.
And what are they for?
One is for the beach, and one is for rental for the seafood festival.
Right.
Apologize.
$34,000?
The other expenses.
All right.
Big tent, go down there, see it.
Yeah, maybe we could have done without it this year and saved that money. Carbon fiber oars, $1,800. If something happened to our oars, we need all new ones, or?
We lost those in the storm.
The oars were lost in the storm?
Yeah.
They floated away?
I don't think it's funny.
Oh, well, no, I'm just wondering what happened to them.
They were damaged and they're gone.
They were damaged?
We need to replace them for our lifeguards.
They can't take water, salt, salt water.
Anyway, I want to get through this real fast. Lifeguard boat, one of them was damaged in the storm?
Yes.
What happened to it?
Can't take water.
Did you see that storm?
Yeah, I saw the storm, but what happened to the boat? Did it crash? Does anybody, I'm just wondering, does anybody know what happened to it, or?
Claire Dyke was out in the boat.
All right. Quick question for Tom.
Dave, I can answer that.
I'm just asking a serious question, you know?
I'll give you an answer.
Okay.
And a real one. The lifeguards would store their equipment in the lifeguard headquarters.
Okay.
Which was damaged by the storm. And when those storm water came through the doors,
yeah,
that equipment got washed all around, the boat got knocked off where...
Okay, so it got smashed, it got knocked into something?
Those boats that they have, kind of, they're not Van Dynes, but when they're fiberglass, so they're not real strong. They're not the strong wooden ones that like when Howard Rowland was the lifeguard.
Right, okay.
So it
got like pushed into something and it broke?
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay. There's a bill here, Institute 4, maybe Tom can answer this question. Psych evaluations class, this is in the police budget for $32.50. Yeah. Could you just explain what that is real fast? Very fast, because...
Anyone that we hire has to take the psychological exam.
Oh, so it's exams of the potential hires, but not for police to play psychologist with the people they're arresting or anything like that, right? Okay, all right, just making sure. $800 for baseball caps. Murray's uniforms. What's that? Oh, for the specials?
Beachfront uniforms.
For the beachfront?
Beachfront
That's
uniforms.
all, that's for the guys in the academy, when they come out of the academy, especially on the boardwalk.
Oh, for the, okay. So what is that, like 80 caps or something like that, or?
$10 cap.
Okay, all right. Okay, just a couple more, if you bear with me.
This is important.
Well, I think it is. It's money, you know, it's our money. Just a couple, I see for two of our clients, there was, checks were voided and new checks were made. Client number 36, there was a check made out to Majestic Interiors for $5,000 and then one voided for Tony Construction. So they changed decorators or something, and we voided one check and made him a new check for the new contractor or something.
Checks were made out to the appropriate person.
That's part of the grant money that we're giving out.
Yeah, I know.
We don't give it directly to anyone. What we do is...
Oh, I know. Okay. The second one, client 59, had the same similar situation. There was a check for $5,000 made out to West Caldwell Care Center, which is some kind of rehab, nursing home type facility. But for that same client, we voided a check to CJT Logistics. Okay, just real quick, CJT Logistics is a shipping expediter based in Essex Fells, provider of quality transportation solutions, air, ground, and ocean methods of shipping. I know you can't say the name, but what was client 59 they originally going to use CJT Logistics for?
Well,
Check was made out to the appropriate person.
yeah, let me explain. So we can't give the money directly to people.
Right.
What we do is we ask them to give us a bill and we'll pay it on their behalf. So they wouldn't pay out of their own checking account.
Right.
But what it is we don't check on it. We don't look to see if it was a food bill or a travel bill or a rehab bill or a construction bill. So, but that's your 5 minutes. Thank you.
Dave, it's called an AC boat. Just kidding. Not like that.
All right, any other questions, comments? If not, Tom, you want to end this, Tom Gilbert?
I'm the 1,000 River Road. Just a couple of things. About the float that was down there on Belmar Boulevard and 35. It's still there. The dock. Float dock. Is it still got the boats on it?
Yes.
Where did it come from?
Where did the dock come from?
Yes.
FOPH.
Say again?
Friends of Belmar Harbor.
Belmar Harbor.
Junior sales.
It's ours. It's not the Shark River or anybody. It's
Owned
ours.
by Friends of Belmar Harbor.
Yeah.
You use one rig, one boat to try to get it off?
I did not, our boat US did.
Did they try and tandem, 2 or 3?
I have no idea.
Should have tried and tandem, it would have come off. It's not that much beach.
But I'm gonna take your part.
Would you please explain the bonfires to me? What are the bonfires? How big are they? I've spoken about this before.
You wanna address the size? It's in the ordinance.
They're restricted to 5 feet by 5 feet.
And 5 feet high, right?
5 by 5.
That's it? That's it?
Right, we don't wanna do what Brooklyn did years ago.
Why?
I guess environmental reasons, that we're limited to what we can do.
Brian, this fire was big, and it was in downtown Brooklyn in January.
I believe
And we
that,
never burned the borough of Brooklyn down. It never burned down. And you're telling me now, and this is when I was a little boy, now, all these years later, we don't have the capability of doing that in a wide beach. Maybe down there between Spring Lake and out. And the thing was, we as little boys, we had a little project. We did these things as boys at that time. We would bring, after Christmas, when everybody was starting to put their trees out, we would, all those trees, blocks and blocks and blocks, down into Prospect Park. And we would have a gigantic mound of Christmas trees. And then about late January sometime, when it was cold and all of that, they had a few bands and this and that, and they would light it up. The flames were way up in the air. And we never accomplished burning the borough down. And now, with all the gadgets and everything else known to mankind, all these years later, we can't have such a bonfire because it might be dangerous. Or a child, a teenager, as you described, might go in the water and get killed. It would be his time, wouldn't it? Everybody dies. I'm trying to be sensitive here. But let's not be silly here. We could do it. We could have a bonfire, a real bonfire, instead of these silly little things you're talking about.
Well, if we have to tell, we can get something big.
Or we just burn down Lake Como.
That would be fine. I'm not against that.
This is all being recorded, by the way, so I'm just kidding about burning down Lake Como.
Comment is on a positive note. Hey. Come on down.
I need it tonight, thank you.
Me and my speedometer are walking down.
Oh, good, thank you. We need some positives in the.
My husband lost his speedometer, I made his bondage.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Mine got run over by a car.
Well, you're gonna get a new one next week.
Come June
Yes.
10th, honey.
That's right. Randy Brazel, 10111. It was a long, cold, lonely winter, and I would just like to say thank you. It feels good to be on the boardwalk, and it really feels good to live here. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Someone speaking, please.
Yes, we've had some levity. I want to get back to a serious subject. You may recall, can you hear me? You may recall, Mr. Mayor, last December sometime, you lashed out at Mr. Bean at one of the council meetings, and I sent you an email, and I said to you that I thought it was an inappropriate action to do at that time. You recall that email?
I don't.
I can make it available to you. You obviously didn't agree with it because you didn't do anything about it. On the 15th of last month, Mr. Bean alluded to 13 minutes of basically lashing out at Mr. Bean and his integrity. And Mr. Bean earlier said that he thought there was an inappropriate forum to do it in this format, and I fully agree with that. After that meeting, I sat down and I tried to write out my reasons for this. I was going to present it at a council meeting, but I somehow didn't want to condescend to that type of activity, so I chose just to write it and to submit it to you in person. Then you had the beachfront opening where you ignored Mr. Bean totally, while he did do just as much and put just as much effort into restoring this town as any other council member. I'm sorry, some of you may not agree with that, but I fully agree that he did just as much as anybody else. I prepared this, I was going to present it, but when I started reviewing it, it took like 8 or 10 minutes to present, so obviously I couldn't do it. So I do want to present to you what I intended to do, and I want to submit a copy of it to April for the record.
Sure. Thank you.
I would just like to add, I don't think this is the proper forum to play politics. What Mr. Bean said, I echo. The lightheartedness things, the things we talked about here, I fully agree with. It's not a place to complain about each other. If you want to do that, do it in an executive session someplace, not in a public forum. And I hate to have to say it, because I don't like it. I don't like to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. One thing I will address, I will stand up for our police department in any forum, public or private. You know, I thank the members of the council who made tough decisions
Here we
over
go
the
again
last
with
6
politics.
Yes.
And
Mr. Mayor, I still have my 5 minutes, I believe. You're a master at diversion.
Yes.
You're a master at diversion. You did it earlier when Mr. Bean was up here. You turned it back into the police department.
Well,
It has nothing to do with that.
This is addressing.
No,
Somebody's playing politics.
That's
with
right.
police, and it's not my party.
that's right. Fine.
Thank you.
You're a master at diversion.
Thank you. So again, just to reiterate, I'll defend our police department in any public or private sessions or forums. I think anyone will